Hello viewer, my name is Erastus Maina. I work for RODI Kenya. RODI Kenya stands for Resources Oriented Development Initiatives Kenya, and our offices are based in Ruiru. Welcome. Today's episode will be on soil erosion. First, we would like to know what is soil erosion. Soil erosion is the removal of the top most fertile soil from one place to another. And then we are going to look at the causes of soil erosion. One, soil erosion can be caused by water, and also soil erosion can be caused by weed, and also soil erosion can be caused by man. And man contributes a great role in soil erosion through his daily activities. Sometimes when we are doing cultivation, somebody can dig down the contour, and that encourages soil erosion. And the other thing is through the cropping systems. Sometimes we practice agricultural practices. Sometimes we practice cultivation practices that contribute to soil erosion. And this is a growing of one crop year in, year out. And also sometimes you'll find the farmer putting the rows of the crops down the contour, and these can contribute to soil erosion. Also, the removal of the ground cover through maybe burning the land, this contributes to erosion. Also, when we overgraze our fields, overstocking of livestock, this also contributes to erosion. And also, when we construct buildings and we don't have a roof catchment, the water from the roof hits the ground and then it flows, and also this causes erosion. Therefore, it's very important to practice good agricultural practices, as I have mentioned, like cultivating along the contour and not down the contour. And also, when we are putting the rows of our various crops, like maybe we are planting ridges, in ridges we need to plant along the contour. There are also other agents of that cause lack of or loss of fertility in the soil. Monocropping. Monocropping, this one also, although it is not some sort of erosion, but it exhausts the soil nutrients, because that particular crop removes the same nutrients from the soil. Monocropping can also lead to exhaustion of soil nutrients through taking of the same nutrients of the from the soil, and this is due because of various crops have there are some crops that have shallow roots, others are medium rooted, and others have deep roots. Therefore, when you practice monocropping for a period of time, the soil nutrients will be drawn from the same soil level for a period of time, and these will lead to exhaustion of nutrients from that level of the soil. So we encourage that we do crop rotation, and that is planting of different crops at different seasons, so that we maximize the use of soil nutrients from the soil. And also, when you practice monocropping for a lengthy period of time, we know that there are some crops that are nitrogen fixing. Some crops have a lot of biomass. By that I mean that they have a lot of very many leaves, and they shed their leaves very fast, and then the leaves fall down, and then they decompose, and by so doing soil fertility is increased. So it's very important in sustainable agriculture to have diversity in crop production because of exhaustion of soil nutrients. So when a farmer wants to break a cropping period, it's important to leave the ground covered, either by planting green manure crops, so that this will encourage soil fertility, and also it will protect the soil from soil erosion agents. So depending on where you are and depending on what you grow, it is very important to consider the soil conservation measures that one is likely to use to protect the soil from erosion. There are different types of soil erosion. There is real erosion, there is sheet erosion, and also there is gully erosion. And all these depends with the amount of water that is flowing through that area. Therefore, considering the type of erosion that you have will lead to a particular soil control measure that can be used. There are various methods of soil control measures. There is fanya juu, there is fanya chini, and also there are building of gabions, and all these are aimed to control the speed of the flow of the water runoff. In fanya juu, the trenches are dug along the contour, and the soil from that particular trench is put on the upper side of the trench. And in the case of the fanya chini, the soil is put downwards of the trench. So why fanya juu and why fanya chini? This is when you need whether to plant to have a fanya juu or a fanya chini. It depends with the slope of that particular land. If your land is not very slopey, we advise that you do fanya juu. But if the slope of the land is steep, we advise that you do fanya chini. There are other methods also that can be used and that are not very labor intensive. Like if the land is not very slopey and you don't have a lot of water runoff, you can leave a glass strip and cultivated piece of land along the contour, and you let grass to grow, or you can plant napier grass on top of these grass strip. There are sometimes other measures that one can apply, like piling of stones along the contour. If your land is having a lot of stones, one can put a layer of stones along the contour, and this will help to slow the speed of water runoff. Also, if you have some trash in your farm, you can put the trash along the contour, and also this will slow the speed of the water. There is also another fact that one has to consider when constructing these various methods of trying to slow down the speed of the water, is the slopeness of that particular area. If the land is very slopey, the trenches, like the fanya juu and the fanya chini, should be a bit closer from one another. But if the land is not very slopey and it is gentle, the distance between one control measure to another is quite far apart. Therefore, you need to consider the slope of that particular land and the availability of the said materials for the sake of controlling the speed of the water. So before a farmer starts digging the land, it's always very advisable for the farmer to check how the slope of the land is before even starting digging the land, so that you start with the control measures first before engaging yourself into your cropping system. Otherwise, it is very dangerous digging the land without first considering the slope and the danger of erosion that can take place. Sometimes you are in a place where a lot of water goes through the farm. There is a method called cut-off drain. You need to channel the water that comes through the farm from the upper side of your farm and channel it to a safer side before that water gets into your farm and causes damage. So in constructing a cut-off drain to channel the excess water that is coming into the farm, the cut-off drain is normally a wide trench of a trench, is a wide trench, and it is directed into a safer area. And by a safer area, I mean the water is channeled to a place where we have a ground cover and where soil erosion cannot take place. In case if you are in a dry area, in semi-arid areas, these cut-off drains can be used for water harvesting. Instead of channeling the water to another area, you retain the water in your farm. And these ones are called retention ditches, where infiltration of that water goes into your land and it is stored into that particular land. So it's always first advisable to seek even agricultural advisors so that you can be able to tell or to know which method is most ideal for your area. Like in livestock stocking, you need to know how many heads of livestock you need to keep in a particular area, so that you don't have overgrazing that will cause erosion. And also, when the animals are moving to that particular piece of land, it's always very important to be changing the direction from which the animals approach the grazing land. Otherwise, if the animals are fond of passing in the same location every time, the hooves remove the ground cover of that particular soil, and then small rails are made, and they will continue like that, and they might lead to gyre erosion. So overstocking is dangerous, and we need to know the stocking rate of animals in a particular area. So in normal circumstances, we used to have agricultural extension officers who come and measure the water control measures for us. But sometimes it has become very expensive to rely on them. And for us in sustainable agriculture, we have come up with a method of determining the contour line. And we do this by using an A-frame. An A-frame is a simple thing that we make to determine the contour line, so that we can be able to construct the fanya juice or the fanya chini, depending with the contour line that the A-frame will determine, as I will demonstrate later on. There are also some pipes that a farmer can use. You can put water in a pipe, and this is called pipe level. And also there is another one used by the agricultural officers called spirit level. So I'm going to demonstrate to you how an A-frame works. And before I do that, I need first to tell you, viewer, how to construct an A-frame. You need to have 3 straight timbers. 2 are of 6 feet length and 1 of 4 feet length. And then you need a string and 3 nails, and of course a hammer. And then you put the 2 timbers that are of 6 foot tall together like that, and then you put the one that is 4 feet length across to form a letter A, and then now you hammer the nails. Then you tie a string at the apex of the A there, and then you tie a weight, and in this case we will use a stone, and then the string hangs like a pendulum, so that it moves. And then you need to determine the center of that 4 feet timber, and then you mark, because that mark will be our reference point. And now I'm going to demonstrate to you how an A-frame is used to determine the contour lines so that we can be able to dig our trenches. Thank you, viewer. Hello, viewer. As I was talking about different soil conservation measures, we need a holistic approach in trying to combat the same. And in sustainable agriculture, we use a device called an A-frame, which is affordable to any farmer, because you only need three pieces of wood measuring 6 feet and one measuring 4 feet, and then you hammer the 3 pieces together to form a letter A, and these will be used in determining the contour line where the structure for soil conservation is going to follow. And this helps to give you a level from point A to point B when the string lies in between the piece of wood that is marked at the midroom. That one shows that the ground now is level, and from point A to point B, then you need to peg, as I'm going to demonstrate to you how to determine a contour line. So every farmer can be able to construct the state control measures without involving outsiders to come and measure the contour lines. And here I'm going to show you how an A-frame is constructed. Welcome. We are going to construct an A-frame, and as I had said, you need to have 3 pieces of wood, 2 long ones measuring 6 feet, and one that measures 4 feet length. So you put your 2 pieces of wood like this, that are of the same length of 6 inches. Then you take a hammer, putting your 2 pieces of wood crisscrossing like that. Now take a nail and hammer and join the 2 6-foot length pieces together. Then now you take the other piece of wood, then put it like that to form a letter A. Take your 2 nails, then you join Then you turn it the other side like this. See if the nails have come to the opposite side. And you follow like that. And so we have our letter A. So as I said, you have a string with a weight. In this case, we have tied our stone. You tie your rope from the top like that. Properly like that. And then using a pen, you mark the center from here to here. You mark your center. Try to see where the center is. Yes, the center is here. So now our A-frame is now ready to be used in the field. So let's go to the field and then we determine the contour line of the said piece of land. Hello viewer. Now when you want now to start determining the contour lines, you go on the upper side of your field and then you put your A-frame the way I've put my A-frame like that, and make sure that the string goes at the middle of the timber that is measuring 4 feet wide. When the string is directly down the mark, you put a peg on one side of the A-frame. You mark that point A, as my colleague is doing. Then you put another peg on the other side of the A-frame. Then you move your A-frame. You move from point A. Then you put your A-frame like that. And then you try now to determine where the string will lie on the central mark of your A-frame. You go slowly until the rope is directly at the center like that. Then you put another peg there. Put another peg. Okay. Then you keep on moving like that. Then you try to rotate the central place. So you go on like that until you reach now the other side of your field, and then you'll notice that some pegs will be slightly outside the line, and you use a rope, tie from the first peg there, and then you put your rope to the last peg. And then now you draw your line, and your contour line basically follows that line. And this one will help you to determine your contour line. And then from one contour line to the other, as I had said before, is determined by the slope of that particular land. If the land is too slopey, you will have your trenches dug closer than when the land is a bit flat. And that's the end of our today's episode, and I hope you have enjoyed the training, and thank you. Your trainer for today's episode was Elastis Miner from RODI, Kenya. Thank you and welcome.